It is Friday, August 21st, no, 28th, off by a week. It is Friday, August 28th, 2020, and this is the Pro and Con Show, and I am your host, Michael James Ott. Welcome to the show. As always, welcome to the show. So, a series of shows, hundreds of them, or it's going to be like 500 of them by the time I'm done at the end of the year. I made a pledge to myself that I was going to do one of these almost every day for until the election of 2020. And it's to encourage us to be better citizens, to be better voters, to be more aware of the pro, and hence the name of the show, Pro and Con. The issues before us are more complex than fit on a few words on a hat or a bumper sticker, okay? And it takes some extra effort. I'm not talking about 40 hours a week, but I am talking about maybe 4 hours a month to take some extra time and listen to people that have some opposing views to yours and try to understand why they have that opposing view, and ask them respectfully, not screaming at each other on opposite sides of the street, but respectfully ask them, what walk in life got you to your place on this issue? Let me tell you about mine. Now, and I've told this story a couple of times, and the story gets told over and over and over again. Here's how bad we are as citizens. So back, the whole Ukraine thing, and there was this phone call with the president of Ukraine, and people were up in arms on both sides about what the content of that phone call really meant, and the so-called, so read the transcript. This was a catchphrase that was thrown out there, read the transcript. And so there were demonstrations, and there were people on both sides of a single street, some with placards saying Trump is horrible, Trump should be jailed, read the transcript. On the opposite side of the street, people saying Trump is awesome, Trump is the best president of all time, read the transcript. Here's the important part of that story. A reporter started going down both sides of the street, and he's like, okay, so you're very emotional and you're strongly either pro or con Mr. Trump. And read the damn transcript. And so then the reporter said, so you've read the transcript? No. And there's a consistent, unbelievably consistent answer amongst the people screaming at each other on opposite sides of the street was they're yelling at each other to read the transcript, and none of them had, or large portions of them. Come on. We've got to be better citizens, pro and con, good and bad, for and against. And yes, that means the issues are complex, and yes, it means we got to think, but that's what we got to do. Okay, today's show is called Wow. And the reason why I call it Wow is that I came across this article, and so a little bit of caution about this, because it almost sounds too good to be true, and therefore, like anything that sounds like it's too good to be true, you really have to give it a moment, give it some days or whatever, weeks, and keep validating that whatever it is true. But the title of this article is Nano Diamond Self-Charging Batteries Could Disrupt Energy as We Know It. So nano, tiny diamond self-charging batteries. And so the company that is spearheading this and making these claims, NDB, Nano Diamond Battery. So I'm going to just read this first paragraph. It's a short one. Excuse me. And then and then talk about it a little bit. So California company NDB says a nano diamond battery will absolutely upend the energy equation, acting like tiny nuclear generators. They will blow any energy density comparison out of the water, lasting anywhere from a decade to 28,000 years without ever needing a charge. They will offer higher power density than lithium-ion batteries. They'll be nigh-on indestructible and totally safe in an electric car crash. And in some applications, like electric cars, they stand to be considerably cheaper than current lithium-ion packs, despite their huge advantages. Now, what this is, and so again, the word of caution about it being too good to be true, is they, in theory, the engineers and scientists that work at this company have come up with a way of taking nuclear waste. So this is small amounts of radioactive materials, radioactive carbon isotopes actually, and they embed them in a sandwich of other carbon, diamonds basically, okay? And they end up with this, and this is the thing that it's not quite clear to me how this works, but it generates electrical current by effectively like this nuclear decay going on in this sandwich of materials. So they truly, it's not really batteries. I mean, that the reason why they're talking about it that way is because they think they can make them in that same sort of form factor, just small little parts, and they'll have, each battery will put out, some number of small amount of volts, DC current, and then you take big packs of these and bring them together, and you can build up higher voltages, and you can build up plenty of current and stuff to run, phones or laptop computers or cars. And because this is actually kind of a nuclear decay kind of thing that's happening to cause this generation of electricity, it's going to last a long time because, the half-life of nuclear decay of some of these isotopes can be, centuries or thousands of years. And so if it's true, then they would, and they're saying that they think that they can do this in a very cost-effective way. And one of the positive things is they're going to take nuclear waste from our current reactors, which there's plenty of it sitting around, and people are trying to figure out what to do with it. Okay, they can take quite a bit of that of nuclear waste in theory, and embed it in these power cells. And by the way they embed it and stuff like that, it's safe because of the structure around it, so that the radiation will not be dangerous. And then they'll generate this electricity. And if the claims are true, then they could have, these parts could last for decades, and have a very consistent output for a long period of time. So in theory, you could have a battery pack that fit into your first electric car, and then eventually that car, the frames or wheels or whatever, wear out, or you decide that you want to replace it with something else. You could still use the original battery pack, so-called battery pack, nuclear pack, and swap it to your next vehicle, and these kinds of things. And that's all great. And I hope, and if it's true, if they are really able to do what they're saying they can do, it is a wow. It is a wow of unbelievable impact around the world forever. I mean, it's almost kind of like one of these magic Star Trek kinds of power sources. And so I hope that it's true. I hope that step by step they're able to do what they are saying that they say that they're going to be able to do. But a word of caution, because again, things that sound so fantastic, sometimes they are. 100 years ago, a little over 100 years ago, we couldn't fly in airplanes. We couldn't figure out how to get off the ground, let alone fly around the world. And of course, we perfected aviation and have flown whatever millions of people, whatever billions of miles around the globe. But back 100 some years ago, we would have thought, oh, flying, that's some kind of freaking miracle. There's no way that, we have to be very cautious that like the Wright brothers really did it, right? Well, the same sort of thing here. This NDB company, I hope it's true. I hope they're like the Wright brothers of a new energy source. And if they are, wow, we're going to have some major changes in a very positive way. And that's fantastic. But be cautious, because they might not be the Wright brothers. They might be the sort of folks that were claiming, it was back in the 70s now. God, I can't believe it's been that many years. But this whole thing around cold fusion. So again, another reaction, nuclear kind of thing that people said, oh, I think we're actually fusing hydrogen in a beaker and at room temperatures. Well, that over time that showed to be a totally wrong theory, and that was totally debunked, unfortunately, because it would have been great if it was true. So let's hope, okay? But maybe you heard it here first. That's certainly the first I've heard of it. NDB, nano diamond battery, really nuclear decay batteries, is what it is. And let's all hope, say a special prayer if you believe in God, that this is true, because if it is, and especially as they've laid it out here about the inexpensive making them and using up nuclear waste and all this other stuff, it's going to be a great thing. So it's going to be a wow if it's real. For the Pro and Con Show, my name is Michael James Ott. Until the next show, bye for now.